And we are back once again with Inward Bound for Mindful Living. So just to sort of recap and bring out a point that you mentioned, I think it's very important as well. Although it was personally said to me, I think it's important to everyone. You mentioned, Mr. Suryarachi, that about being aware of things, observing things, but sort of being apart from it, not interfering. Can you elaborate on that? What that?
I think that's one of the most important things of ability. Once you keep improving your practice of mindfulness will develop. Now, habitually, we cannot really observe things, right, without putting in some past knowledge onto it, right. For example, you hear a sound. You immediately want to know what is that sound, which bird that is, And the moment you know, it's a crow or it's a parrot, and then the investigation stops, right? And this happens most of the time, in life also. That's why only very few people will discover something new. There are people who go beyond that and ask, is it the same? Right? So, this non-interfering observation is one of the best definitions given for mindfulness also. Mindfulness is the ability to observe a phenomena without interfering. What I mean by interfering is, one is you bring back your old knowledge and see this is what is happening.
Sort of preconceived.
Preconceived, right. I don't know whether I related this story of this, eating something,
okay.
Right? I once I was given a Japanese set meal,
okay.
in that you have different things. And there was this little portion of food which looked like something sweet, like a dessert. And it looked like caramel, pudding. And the moment I saw it, I know this will be caramel pudding. And then I remembered the taste of caramel pudding. And then there was something else which was a little sweet. I thought maybe that is sweet, but this is my caramel pudding. So I took a little piece to the spoon and I bring it to my mouth. Now my mind is already ready to experience caramel pudding. And when I put it in, it was some tofu preparation. It has no caramel pudding taste at all. You see, that was a good moment where I realized most of the time we don't eat the food that is on the table.
We think we know what we're having. Yeah,
exactly. So this is non-mindful eating.
Right.
If you are mindful eating, let me see what is the taste.
Yeah.
Right? You experience that. Now, when you learn to do this, right, this will not come on day one, don't worry, right? Then you can bring that to any moment that you want, right? Otherwise you don't, because otherwise you will think that how will every day I will look at my house and say, is this my house? I'm not saying that. But this habitual interfering, of not observing what happens, actually, it distorts what happens.
And I think, although you brought a very simple example of your experience with the Japanese tofu that you thought it was caramel, I think that's true about people in general as well, Mr. Suryarachi. I mean, you tend to judge the book by its cover before even realizing what a person or what type of person he is. Maybe you have preconceived notions. This is the type of person he is going to be before even he utters a first word, for example.
Yes, because we need that little bit of predefinition for us to form a relationship, to put a hook, right? So the moment you do that, you're not free,
yes.
Right? That's where sometimes our relationships also get into problems,
yeah.
Because I have an image about you which I created, and every time I look at it through that. Right? The moment your behavior doesn't fit that, then I have a problem. Then you say, I don't like that guy. So this is why the mindfulness helps you to learn, right? Even if you don't be able to observe without interfering, you at least become aware I'm interfering.
And you look towards yourself.
This is about discovering yourself, not, because we try to discover everything else but except ourselves, right? Some of the point that I want to discuss later, as they go forward, is how your own insights will change your life. Like this simple thing that happened to me, right? You will learn from simple things like that. You don't need a 1 hour lecture on these kind of things, and you suddenly realize. So, mindfulness, now say when you are walking, we bring back the mind to the process of walking without analyzing, all these things. Then you develop this ability to notice walking as a process, right? Without trying to force your idea about it. And the more you do this, you develop this ability to look at something and see what really happens. Now that gives a little bit of space, right? Yeah. In that space, you observe it far better than the thing involved. It's true. I'll take a crude example, right? Say two people are arguing and they are now about to start hitting each other. You are observing it. Then only you realize how did it start, why are they behaving like that. A little bit of that you can observe. But they have forgotten it.
Yeah, because if staying outside from it, you are able to see that.
This is true for anything. Yeah. So it's true for ourselves. So now, the beauty of this practice is you use it in simple moments like walking, eating, drinking your cup of tea, whatever those little moments where you find, let me practice. So those are practice moments. Right? So you keep practicing. Now, you have seen kids who love cricket, even in the class when there's nobody, you try a few strokes, right? And these days you will see executives in their rooms, they try to practice their golf swings. So it's like that. So you find moments like, for example, you are waiting for a lift, right? And then you watch your breath. Right. I'm breathing. It's okay because it's no problem. You are not expected to do.
It's a mundane daily activity.
Daily activity, and then you build in as many fillers. Like on a TV station, there are fillers like that. So you have fillers, right? And you use this exercise of becoming aware of what goes on as fillers, right? And another important aspect of it is once you develop this, you begin to notice what you think. Right? That's the beauty. And that's another level of becoming aware. Now, we first discussed things that you do, right? And then we will see how things that happens to you, and then how our thoughts.
I think there's much more to actually touch on, and I want to ask you a very important question as well, but we'll do so in the next segment.